Excuse me for a moment while I have a drink in honor of the James Webb Telescope finally launching. Makers 101. So good. Welcome to Science News Thursdays, a new video series that will premiere every Thursday, which will delve into trending stories in science so you can keep up with what's happening in all fields. It's also a handy way for me to stay on top of content without killing myself. So hey, win-win, right? This series of videos will feature brief snippets of science stories I can't always cover in depth on the channel because I'm only one man. Anyway, it'll also feature plenty of memes, like this one of Batman dancing. And you like memes, don't you? Yeah. So let's jump into the science news, but first, remember to do the thing and like, comment, subscribe, and all that algorithmic jazz. I'm Eric Malachite, author of the cyberpunk thriller Ego Trip, and this is Science Cat. Have you ever wondered if your dog understands what you're saying? Me neither, but a bunch of scientists behind a study published in NeuroImage did, and do wonder, and the results are a little surprising. NeuroImage is an open-access, peer-reviewed scientific journal that covers everything from neuroimaging to functional brain mapping. I've often compared interacting with my pets to taking care of a 3-year-old. P.S. Here's a photo of my cat because the internet loves cats. But it turns out that dogs are particularly well adapted to discerning whether we're speaking real words at them or just plain old gibberish. Come on, like you haven't used baby talk on a pet before. Upon moving from Mexico to Budapest, neuroscientists and dog owners Laura Cuella and Raul Hernandez Perez noticed that their border collies reacted to Hungarian-speaking people differently than they did to their Spanish-speaking owners. Because of this, Laura and Raul began to wonder if their furry life companions could tell the difference between the two languages. Spoiler, they could. These two neuroscientists work at part of a research group at Eötvös Loránd University in Hungary. ELU for short, because man, am I gonna keep butchering that name if I'm not careful. Is currently studying how speech perception in mammals has evolved. And one of their target mammals is the domesticated canine, or, dogs. The study basically demonstrates that the canine brain is capable of discerning the differences between two languages. Hey, maybe they're not as dumb as a 3-year-old after all. Link to the full article is in the description. You're welcome. Next up, we've got some exoplanet news. I know, it's been a while since I've checked in on exoplanet research. Thanks, YouTube Analytics. Hey kids, what can you tell me about oxygen? It's a building block of life, and also highly flammable. But that's neither here nor there because it could also be used to peer into the depths of exoplanets, even those that are far, far away from us. See what I did there? How though? Well, lab experiments have basically shown that when rocks are exposed to larger quantities of oxygen, they actually melt at far lower temperatures than those with weaker atmospheres, or those with lower concentrations of oxygen in their atmosphere. Scientists involved with the work suggest that this could mean that exoplanets with oxygen-rich environments tend to be more geologically active than those without. You might be wondering how those two seemingly unrelated things are, related, but it all comes down to the mechanics of geological activity. The short answer is that it's not that we'll be able to literally see beneath the surface of these exoplanets, but rather that the presence of oxygen informs what we might find. Volcanic activity likely leads to conditions where oxygen-rich environments and therefore life are more favorable. But it's still too early to tell since there's a lot we don't know about exoplanetary systems. So check out the full article in the description for more details. In an age long before conventional antibiotics, a drug-resistant bacterium may have evolved on hedgehogs? I mean, hedgehogs. They gotta go fast! I couldn't resist. Let's move on. I'm so disappointed in myself. There's really no question about it. The use of antibiotics to treat bacterial infections definitely leads to antibiotic-resistant bacteria. And for years, it's been a concern that the overuse of antibiotics could lead to a superbacterium that the World Health Organization says isn't the setup for a post-apocalyptic Netflix series. but something that is actually ongoing all over the world. In comes Jesper Larsen, veterinarian at Stanton Serum Institute in Copenhagen, who says that antibiotic-resistant microbes had to evolve genes that gave them boosted resistance to antibiotics. But scientists are unsure of where those genes could have come from. And at least in one kind of antibiotic-resistant bacterium, what you probably know as MRSA, aka Staphylococcus aureus, it looks like it could have evolved on the backs of hedgehogs over the course of the last few hundred years. But I can hear you objecting already. But Eric, how could antibiotic-resistant bacteria evolve without antibiotics? And the answer is that hedgehog skin produces a unique type of fungus that is itself a form of natural antibiotic, thereby facilitating an environment where these medicine-resistant bacteria could evolve. As Spock would say, fascinating. Did you know that Saturn's moon, Enceladus, sometimes launches water vapor into space in the form of giant jets? Yeah. That's pretty awesome, and for years scientists have pondered at what could be the cause of this activity. Do these jets come from a deep subsurface ocean, or do they come from aliens? Okay, I made that last bit up. There are no aliens. Or are there? But thanks to some new research presented at the fall meeting of the American Geophysical Union, that may not be the case after all. So where the hell is all that water vapor coming from? Aliens? No, not aliens, kids, but rather, now scientists think that these massive jets of material actually comes from what's described as watery mush from within the moon's icy crust. As many of you probably know, Europa, not Enceladus, is the famous place that most astronomers and science communicators suggest we could find life. Enceladus is quite similar. It does in fact have a subsurface ocean, and just like Europa, scientists think it's a great candidate for the ongoing search for extraterrestrial life in our solar system. Just as assuredly as my cat will occasionally wake me up by sitting on my neck, breaking things on my desk, or pawing my face for cuddles and affection, so too will she adhere to the cat's ultimate credo: if I fits, I sits. And unfortunately for Starlink's self-heating satellite dishes, they're attracting a bunch of cats who just want a warm place to plop. SpaceX's Starlink, a space-based satellite internet service that promises to one day provide high-speed internet access to the deep, deep south, where no one with a PS5 can successfully play the newest Call of Duty, or, whatever it is PS5 players are into. PC Master Race. Gizmodo interviewed a disgruntled Starlink customer, and he told them Starlink works great until the cats find out that the dish gives off a little heat on cold days. Well said, Aaron Taylor of Twitter. And if you're wondering why this would be a big deal, check out this adorable image of 5 cats cuddling it up on one such Starlink dish. Elon Musk and a SpaceX-focused news site called Tasmanian were quick to offer a solution as to why all those fuzzy kittens were napping on this person's dish. And it turns out that these Starlink dishes have a feature called snow melt. The feature causes the dish to warm up, and that heat is likely what attracted the furry ones. Well, either that or they're just assholes. Apparently, the cats in said photo have access to a heated home already, so who knows why they're really there. Aliens? There is a scientific study somewhere in there. Well, that's all I've got for science news this week, but be sure to check back next week. Same bat Thursday, same bat channel, you know what I mean. And hey, if you dig exoplanet videos, check out this one about a new type of exoplanet discovered in the depths of space. Here's a hint, it's like cotton candy. Yeah, I'm serious. And wow, check out all those wonderful names. Thank you, patrons. I'm Eric Malachite, and I'll catch you next time.